What's up, y'all? I'm RJ. Welcome to the Bass Swagger Chronicles. Basically, just want to take a quick moment to comment on the scales and the modes as it applies to using them in practical situations. There's a wealth of information that's been posted on YouTube. A lot of cats out there that has been willing to spend their time and effort to help our collective bass playing community to get that music theory that we need. So hats off to everybody that has done that, and this is just merely my 2 cents. Hopefully that I can add in to help bass players that are beginning to look at the modes and the scales a little closer, to share some things that has helped me along the way. So in particular, I want to talk about how to get music, as it were, out of the modes and the scales. So just to give a couple of quick examples on it. If you take the major scale, I'm going to play it in A. It took me a while to understand how to get, like music out of that. For one thing, I couldn't hear how you can get funk out of that kind of that scale. However, 2 songs that are very well known come out of that scale, come out of the major scale, and these songs are pretty much purely built on the major scale. And one song is I Want You Back by the Jackson 5. You remember that one? And that's just running the major scale from the root note all the way to the octave. And even in the hook, you're running that scale backwards. Alright, that's one song, and then we have Cameo, the song that they made called Candy. That's just built off the major scale. I'm used to slapping it, so let me... So that's all major scale right there. So what I'm getting at here is that whenever you're starting out with the bass and you're starting to inquire more maybe about the modes and the scales and how to use them, basically want to play them over and over and over until you can hear the music. And you'll start to hear songs will come to mind as you're playing the scales. As you become more familiar with them, you'll say, oh yeah, this sounds like, you'll just be playing a certain sequence of the notes, or you'll be playing them and you'll hear it in your head, certain songs that come out of these scales. So that's one way to start getting more familiar with them. Now, as far as the modes go, the modes, what helped me to understand it a lot better was when someone described it as it's just you're playing the major scale, but you're starting at a different step in the scale. So for instance, we have 7 modes. We're going to have, excuse me, in your A major scale, you're going to have the A, the B, the C sharp, the D, the E. Then you're going to have your F sharp, your G, and then your A. Excuse me, your F sharp, your G sharp, and your A. So your A is the octave, of course. All the other notes would constitute these modes that we're talking about. Even the root note is a mode itself. So we have the first step, which is Ionian. That's the A. Then we have the B, which is the Dorian. Then we have the C sharp, which is the Phrygian. We have the D, which is your Lydian. We have the 5th, which is the Mixolydian. That's your E. And then we have your 6th step, which is the F, your F sharp. That's going to be a natural minor scale, which is called the Aeolian. Then you have your major 7th in the major scale, your major 7th. So your G sharp is your Locrian mode. Then you're back to your octave. And if you're going to play use all 4 strings, then you're going to want to get your 9th, 10th, and 11th steps in there as well. So the modes, we want to be able to get music out of those as well, because if you're playing a song there may be times when some of the modes may be applicable to a particular part of the song or to the song in general. There may be times when there may not be any practical use for some or more of the modes. So just playing the modes over and over again, becoming very familiar with them, that's what's going to train the ear and help a bass player to know when to use these modes. Now, to give you an example of how to get music out of the modes, let's take the Dorian mode. Let's play a Dorian. Okay, so if we were going to actually harmonize the major scale, and we were going to play from starting with the Ionian or the root note and play all the way through, just consecutively play all the modes, you would hear the harmony of the major scale. So each mode has its own flavor. Even though they're all coming from the same scale and you're starting at a different point, they all have their own different kind of flavor. So the Dorian has a minor flavor, it's a minor scale, and again it sounds like this. Now, one song that comes to mind that uses the Dorian, it just exclusively uses the Dorian as far as I know, is another song by Cameo. It's called "Keep It Hot," and you probably know that song. Well, I'm going to play the song, part of it, and you're going to see it's just simply playing the Dorian scale. Now, I don't recall which key it's in, but I'm going to play it in A. Just going to stick with A right now. 1, 2, 3. So you remember that, and if you notice, it's just the Dorian. That's the Dorian. So yes, you can get music out of the scales. There are times when you're going to just create your own musical situation as far as the scales and the modes are concerned. That just comes with time. There may be times when some of the modes may not seem to fit a particular situation, but actually they do. That just comes with a certain level of mastery of getting them. Kind of on that note, I was just listening to a CD by Stanley Jordan. Now he's a guitar player, the 6-string guitar, and phenomenal guitar player. But on this CD entitled Bolero, on track number 6, he does this incredible guitar solo, and at certain points in the guitar solo it seems like he's hitting the wrong notes. Well, what I'm getting at is that if you make an error or you supposedly play a wrong note, you can get back on track. Now, of course, if he was doing that, it was on purpose, and it was a certain artful aspect to that. It's an incredible song. You should check it out if you haven't already. It's a blues type song. It's called Plato's Blues. But anyway, I'll catch you on part 2. But for right now, that's how you get music out of the scales and the modes.